It's no secret now that the Ripple versus SEC case, it is effectively over. We recently witnessed Jim Cramer tell Gary Gensler to his face live on CNBC that the SEC has lost against Ripple. And developments surrounding the anti-crypto member party in Congress are accelerating with a very crystal clear message: accept crypto or lose your job. Coinbase CEO says the company has donated $25 million to vote anti-crypto politicians out of Congress, and furthermore, Stand with Crypto has just reached over 1 million advocates, which is a very, very big deal. And Brian Armstrong stated the crypto constituency will be a major force in the US election, and if politicians, especially in the battleground states, want to get elected, they'll need to listen. We also have a new interview with Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse regarding lawsuit updates and the penalty fine Ripple will end up paying. But before I showcase this video, Gary Gensler, the chairman of the SEC, has lost once again. The Fifth Circuit has vacated the SEC's private fund rule, holding that the SEC exceeded its statutory authority to regulate private fund advisors. The administrative state is out of control, and the federal judiciary is reining it in. You absolutely love to see it. So another loss for Gary Gensler and his SEC and his regime, as the Fifth Circuit finds the SEC exceeded its authority granted to it by Congress. Which again sounds very, very familiar. Gary Gensler continues to lie to Congress time and time again. Congress need to withhold funding the SEC for the time being until they can demonstrate that they can be trusted to follow the law. It is plain and simple as that. Some serious restructuring is needed within the ranks of the SEC, and in my opinion it should start from the top downwards. Regulations need to be enforced, and it seems that the SEC Commissioner Hester Peirce is in agreement. SEC Commissioner Hester Peirce proposes joint US-UK regulatory sandbox for crypto companies, giving them 2 years safe harbor to decentralize their blockchains. So effectively, her proposal would enable the SEC to set up a micro-innovation sandbox where US companies would be able to do a limited amount of business in the US using blockchain technology to trade securities without fear of getting targeted by regulators. Time in the sandbox will be limited to 2 years with possible extensions. FinHub will help companies understand and navigate the sandbox. Companies can choose their own regulatory rules, but they will be required to follow certain government guidelines to protect investors, and if Time in the Sandbox is successful, then companies may be able to graduate and continue their activities with special permission from regulators. This is the sort of rule-making and policies the SEC Chairman Gary Gensler should be doing and proposing himself, but instead, he just wants to fight and wage war on all of crypto. He has tried for years now with Ripple, seeking out now $2 billion in damages in fines, despite Ripple coming out with a more favourable verdict. And we can hear in this interview with Brad Garlinghouse that the SEC will not be receiving this $2 billion fine. Nowhere near that.
XRP was not a token in the context of retail use. It was a different story for institutions. Where do things stand with that case right now?
So right now, what the courts ruled and the judge said very clearly is XRP in and of itself is not a security. That's everything to us. That was, these are technologies that should be allowed to kind of breathe and thrive and grow. And to me, it's again, the inevitable march of those technologies, the progress. The case between Ripple and the SEC, we feel like is largely resolved. Most of that went Ripple's way. There's one case that the judge decided when an institutional sales and something called an investment contract, because there's a contract around it, the contract could be a security. And it was deemed that those were unregistered security sales. And so we're in the final, let's say, half mile of that marathon. I think we'll see resolution hopefully this summer. The SEC asked for $2 billion in fines. My estimation is that'll be, certainly in the millions, not the billions. And I think it's, again, just a misguided to even come out and ask for that when there's no accusation or certainly findings of reckless behavior, fraud, or any of those things. The other settlements that they've done have been represented like maybe 1 or 2% of what's been involved. And so it's just kind of posturing, in my opinion.
The official verdict is looming. The final judgment could be made any day now. And once the decision has been made, most likely resulting in a massive victory for Ripple, XRP's price will soar to the moon. The future is closer than you think.